northern and central Brazil. The mata-mata is strictly an aquatic species, but it prefers standing in shallow water where its snout can reach the surface to breathe. So it's got
what a little lad.
It's got a snorkel nose.
Hi, everybody. This is Turtles with DMing Hadley and Crowd.
He's a little lad who loves berries and cream, and also biting people, probably.
And fishing
We
bugs.
like turtles.
Oh, God. We do love our turtles around here. Finn, you're going to have to go through all that again when you introduce this character. I hope you have a name for them, because...
That's the problem. I'm always... Because I put so much effort into names. Like, they always have to have, like, at least, like, one important meaning.
Name him Mateo.
What?
Mateo the Mata-Mata.
That's just alliteration.
It's very good.
It's not bad.
Also, for the record, the Charles says that Octave is busy in the library doing library things.
Is that innuendo?
No.
Library things, capitalized TM.
No, it's not innuendo. It's literally doing, like, library stuff that you do in the library.
Library stuff?
Library stuff. Hadley, please don't do this to me. I'm so autistic, I will actually cry.
That's okay. It's okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. If you happen to be out there, or morning, I don't know where you are. I don't know how time works. It's somehow it's different times in different places. That's really obnoxious. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. It is always the same time everywhere. Okay? I'm just saying. It's okay if the sun rises at a different time for you than someone else. It does. That's how it works.
Distance from the equator, some shit. I don't know how time works.
I mean, I do believe that the technical way to look at it is either the international dateline, which is where the day changes, or Greenwich Mean Time, because the fucking British get to tell you what time of day it is.
Well, when you conquer your way around the world, you can set the time.
You guys heard it here first. This is where my plans for global domination begin.
But to do that, you would have to stop the Earth from orbiting, because how we determine days is by the sun. So you would have to, like, literally stop the Earth from rotating. But if you did, which is possible, but if you did somehow do that, that would mean half the Earth would bake and the other half would freeze.
It's better
Only
this way.
Americans get to tell you what time it is.
I'm just saying it's the same time everywhere. And then we can't, if that's what you want to do, is just be like, it's a different day. It is a different day. Days are different. That makes sense. I'm okay with that. The sun comes up on whatever day it is. But there's a difference between days and hours. The fact that my hours are not the same as somebody else's, and that we can just go ahead and shift them around as we see fit, willy-nilly, twice a year.
So I think that time is relative.
Your mom's a relative.
I don't have a mom, Hadley. I have I finally got my copy of my birth certificate. My mother is not on it. It's only my dad's.
You respond. Got it. Okay.
I was spawned.
We were spore.
Yeah, sporulated. I gotta do the thing. We gotta get started. So, hello, everyone. Since I can't even address people by the time of day, because it's always a different time. I mean, yeah, there's no reason not to make it easy. It should be easy. Yeah.
Every month is Friday the 13th.
Yeah, hell yeah. Proper bacchanal. So, all right. Welcome back to another DMing Hadley game. I'm DMing Hadley, in case that wasn't very clear. And tonight, it's the students of Strixhaven. Look at that. Isn't that nice? And when last we left our intrepid adventurers here, y'all had a little bit of time to yourselves and went out and explored the campus, did all the things you do around spring break time, and the semester has now come to a close. And we are moving into the summer months. Now, Strixhaven isn't quite as barren during the summer as most universities that take the summer off, but it is not insignificant. The number of people who do leave, there is a sparse feeling on campus. You could walk from Prismari to Quandrix and see only one or two people on that trip, depending on what time of day you go. And in doing so, you've had a little more of a run of the campus. And each of you are staying through the summer semester for whatever reason, whether you are helping professors or working on your own independent research programs, or if you just want to get ahead a few classes. And like I said, today we are also going to take a moment and we're going to meet some of the influential individuals in your characters' lives, people that you have, for one reason or another, entrusted with the knowledge that you have. And to sort of sum up what we've established so far, it is that earlier in spring semester, there was some sort of attack, question mark, on campus. And ultimately, nobody was really hurt, but staff were absolutely clammed up about why and what had transpired. And students for many weeks were speculating about what it could be. But then finals sort of came up and people got focused back on school. And then the idea that a lot of them were leaving for the summer has sort of left your party one of the smaller contingents of folks that have been looking into the history of Strixhaven. Now, once you found yourselves exploring the La Biblioteca, the library at the center of Central Campus, you found a few magical tomes and you found a few historical tomes, sections of which seem to have been redacted, if not removed entirely.
SCP Foundation took them.
I'm just saying. And then individually, we sort of looked at what each of the characters had experienced in their time apart, and bringing them back together. Athene had spent a decent amount of time creating a murder board, looking over a timeline of events for the campus, sort of like when it was founded, when each of the schools were sort of built, which has been a while, and then how a little over 200 years ago, one of the students of Witherbloom caused a death on campus in a somewhat public way. And the events around that death were hidden, lost to time, and your search for a bit of information brought you to the Witherbloom campus, where you were provided by a vampire member of the faculty a notebook, which seemed to have been the book of what's this? Oh no, why don't I have his name?
Mergaxer.
Mergaxer, yes, Mergaxer, and unfortunately, it did not produce as many answers as it did questions. The journal itself having been damaged by water and time. 200 years is a long time to be sitting in a bog. Yeah, so that motivation, still unclear. The motivation as to what was covered up and why, also unclear. And then there was a suggestion specifically from who was oh god was Ziggy. Had a pretty significant experience on a mountainside outside of who was it? Silver Quill in the mountains of an individual, ashen white, informing him that he doesn't belong there. And then disappearing into the night while he was camping. So it's been about 4 weeks since that that get together and Athene's murder board creation. So we're going to get to meet your characters, and then we're going to meet your characters' friends. So we're going to do sort of 2 round robins, but this one's the one that y'all came for. This is what you're here for, is the round robin. Because during the round robin, we like to do 4 distinct things. The first thing we do is introduce ourselves. The second thing we do is share with one another and the world our pronouns. The third thing we do is introduce our characters. And the fourth and final thing is offer a vivid, aesthetic description of those characters so that they may live in each and every one of our brain holes, because I like to vividly hallucinate with my friends on the internet for 2 to 3 hours at a time, 7 days a week, often multiple times per day, and today is no different. So without further ado, Wyatt, why don't you take it away and show the folks at home how it's done.
Hello, I'm Wyatt. I use it and Fae pronouns exclusively now, because fuck the government.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing Eurydice today. She is a changeling paladin. She uses she/her pronouns. And I love her, and I have art of her that I will share with you.
Show us the child.
She is like 24, 25, Hadley. She is not a child.
She's a child.
This is she. I love her very much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still very proud of the fact that I figured out how to draw cochlear implants on these stupid fucking ears. But yeah, she has a cool weapon. I can't unlayer that right now. I can unlayer that. But she's very good. You can tell I'm a furry because of how I draw changelings.
Yeah.
Also,
it's somewhere between furry and brony.
I hate that people have consistently compared my art style now to My Little Pony multiple times. It bothers me so much.
Well, make it not look like My Little Pony. I guess people won't compare it to that.
I have been trying to for months, and it's genuinely upsetting to me.
Look, here's the thing: when you start drawing anime hooves, that's what you're gonna get. That's not. It's not like. I mean, I'm not hating. Genuinely, I'm not.
I am genuinely upset by the fact that it is comparative.
I had My Little Ponies before most of you were born, so don't worry about it.
It still bothers me.
Oh, do you want me to talk about My Little Pony? I got all the toys.
Don't step to me, kid. Don't step to me. I will destroy you.
I know I wasn't there, so I'm not a real fan, but I like the toys.
That's not the gatekeeping is not what I do. That's not me, man. That's not me, dude. Nope.
I like the original toys and I like the original show because it's fucking chaos.
Correct. Cheers.
Seriously, people are like, "Oh, My Little Pony, it's a little girl show." They don't. In the original fucking series and in Gen 4, they were literally like constantly dying, like on the verge of death. Like in fucking Gen 1, they were like always like being attacked by shit. Like
I'm pretty sure someone did die in like Gen 1 or some shit, but I can't remember.
Probably people came close to death. I think at least.
The 80s were fucking hardcore when it came to kid shit, y'all. Seriously. Saturday morning started with WWE wrestling or WWF wrestling, and then broke into cartoons. And the cartoons were like maniacal. Come on, we had a whole cartoon series based off of like army tactics and fighting like
G.I. Joe,
imperialism.
baby.
Like, I mean, like seriously.
My favorite fucked up bit of My Little Pony original lore is that there's a type of pony called what are they called? I think they're called glitter eye ponies or something, and they have like their eyes kind of look like gems. It almost gives it a bug-like appearance. And the lore for that is that there was a group of ponies that were enslaved and they were forced to like mine magic crystals, and they were in there so long that they went basically blind to light, like they just like could only see in the dark. So when they were eventually freed, their eyes crystallized and now they can see in the light because the crystals like aided them.
It's fucking crazy. The original lore is insane. Wasn't there also like, you know, the like species of breezies and shit? Like in the original series, didn't people like keep them as pets even though they were like sentient creatures?
That I'm not sure about. I need to watch more of the show to get.
Creepy in that cows and a lot of insects are also shown as sapient. So every time you see a cow skull on the show, it's a person's remains, not an animal.
True.
There's also a whole like, I'm not going to get into that actually. Never mind.
It's Twinkle Eye Ponies. Sorry. I did look it up. I didn't want to be wrong.
It's terrifying.
Also, Hadley, I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Do you want me to wait to show off the wife, or do you want me to do that now? Because I can. I will wait. I will wait for the wife.
Matt, you ready to do the thing?
I can do the thing.
Do the thing.
All right. I'm Matt. He, him pronouns, though I won't object if you call me she, they, just stick to person articles. No it's, which is an awkward article to use for people. Tonight I'm playing Sethan, who is a mantis folk monk war mage. Somewhat fierce little bugger, but is only a whole 2 feet tall, maybe another inch with the wings extended as big as they can get. Obviously very fierce looking, but it's a 40-pound bug, so it's absolutely dangerous in mantis form. It'd be a little less dangerous if it was, you know, a grasshopper. Sethan doesn't wear much in the way of clothing beyond his scarf that will identify that he's from the Quandrix school with the white and green coloring, gray. Keep either messing that up or missing it. Remember the green, and I remember it's either white or gray.
It's gray. Well, it's actually either white or gray. Because it's Quandrix, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's everything from like a sea foamy green down to like a deep, rich emerald British racing green. And then there's shades of gray and white and black that are often augmented as it makes sense. Yeah, and he's just a shawl for him, right? Just the scarf.
Yep.
Okay.
Anything else seems very restrictive. Most of the clothes that he's ever found are made for bipeds, and he's a hexapod, effectively.
Correct.
Most of the tailors don't know what to do with 2 sets of legs and then 2 front-mounted forelimbs versus side of the shoulder.
Yeah.
It's weird making a shirt where you have a head hole and then kind of shared armhole coming forward.
No weapons, right?
Contact? No. Working as a monk, and with his pincer claws, manipulation of other weapons has always been tricky.
Sure, understandable. Sweet. Thanks. Yeah, we'll come back around in game and visit each of your contacts. Finn, do the thing.
Hello, I'm Finn, they, them, and I play Athene, who is a little owlin, and they're like this a little bookworm, a little nerdy guy. They're isn't screen. They are based off of the little owl. There's an actual species of owl called the little owl. They are in fact small.
It's adorable.
So yeah, it's like imagine that, but like anthropomorphized.
Yes, I do.
They have like dark academia aesthetic, so very like British college. Like to wear stuff like this, little sweaters. So yeah, that's probably what they.
It's dope. I love his aesthetic. How tall is he?
Like almost 5 foot, like just under. Probably probably 4'11". Like what? No, I'm 4'10". So like 4'10", 4'11". I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
He's not the right kind of owl, but I really like this image.
That's adorable.
Okay, I took you this way, Martin. Isn't he that weird?
Wow. That's pretty dope.
Someone's playing piano. Which Athene does like to do, because they are a bard, but like classical bard.
I love that. Looks like a Renaissance owl.
An owl of the arts. It's also very much kind of like mythology kind of thing to it, because Athene, as you can imagine, it comes from Athena, and the little owl is the scientific name for a little owl is Athene noctura, I think, and it's because the owl is like associated with the goddess Athena. So yeah, they're very interested in Greek and Roman mythology. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay. That is he.
Magnificent. Nicely done, Finn. Kudos to all of you. I really do appreciate so much the round robin. I think it really sets these characters, at least in my mind, very clearly. No, Mr. Superman not here. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. DMing Hadley. He, him pronouns here for 60% or so of your DMing needs. Because I don't do maps. I don't do it. You could make me, but you won't have to pay for maps. More than and you're gonna miss out on narrative for sitting here fucking around with Roll20. Not a huge fan. Not a huge fan. Yeah, it's a real damn shame. What I'd probably do is charge more and then have somebody actually handle the maps. So that was just their job. Then I could just handle the but it'd be too much. It'd be too much. So just come on in and do the narrative part. It's worth it, I promise. Anyway. Let's roll for initiative.
Initiative, huh?
Yeah.
Artificial 20.
Hot.
I'm not happy with that though, because that probably means I'm going to have to go first, and I still don't have a name for this for the turtle.
What were we rolling? I'm sorry. I was showing my friend pictures of my cyst.
A very normal thing to do.
I'm sorry. There's so many things going on in my house.
Please roll for initiative.
Gotcha, thank you. 5 total. 4 plus 1.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay.
25 for Sethan.
Sethan with a 25. Okay. Finn, you can say thank you to Matt.
Thank you, Matt. You have saved me. What gender should be?
Okay, a 5 total.
Yeah. You always have any opinions on what gender the turtle should be?
I mean, once you live long enough, why does gender really matter?
I don't know how old they are, because I mean, if we're going off of what D&D's rules say, turtles only live to 50, which is weird, seeing as actual turtles live like 200.
Yeah, yeah, they're gonna live for a long time.
True, but I still want to, because I want to, because the Matamaras are native to South America, I want to give them a Spanish or Portuguese name, and Spanish or Portuguese names are gendered, which means I have to choose what gender the name at least should be.
There are some names that are ungendered depending on how they end. I don't know how it works in Portuguese in particular, but in Spanish, if it ends with an O or an A, it's masculine or feminine, but an E or certain other endings are neutral.
Okay, thank you.
You can call him Max.
It's too normal. Like I gotta put more into it.
Maximilian.
Thanks.
There's more for you.
Yeah, a million more.
Maximilian more.
That's his name, Maximilian Moore. Sethan. Stop. Who's your buddy? Who's your pal? Who's your contact?
Then the Portuguese word for turtle is tartaruga.
Oh yeah, I learned that from fucking Wildcrats.
You could call them Tara or Tare.
So I am bringing Edward to the party, who
Okay.
the folks here are familiar with, but our potential viewers down the line are not.
Okay. All right. I like this. It's always interesting for a crossover, because like I said, there's nothing canon like in my games necessarily until it's canon. So the fact that he exists in these different worlds means he exists in the same world. Now timing. That's where things get interesting.
Split dimensions are also possible, but
Nah, not around here. We've got enough dimensions to go around.
To cover the bases, Edward is a warforged made of onyx and granite with white and brown mycelial tissue running along in parallel with white bleached vines for the musculature. The coloring being reminiscent of any sort of plant or fungal life that would grow underground. They have a ring on a necklace. Remember your comments from yesterday.
I didn't say anything. I just asked questions.
Yep. You insinuated.
Nope.
Which is fun.
Nope. I did not insinuate anything. What I said was
also,
it was not specified.
I also thought it was a cock ring.
What I asked was if you could specify where the rings are, or where the ring is. Just asking the question. Y'all damned yourselves.
Penis.
Y'all damned yourselves.
Vine penis.
Damned or made things more interesting.
Yep, that's how it works. Anything that's interesting is just set for damnation, apparently.
Excellent. Edward has a homunculus. He's named Pride because, of course, that is a vine construct that actually clings to his back until he acts on his own.
I really love that. I really, really love that. I think it's a really neat mechanic.
This robot gay. I mean, he's got a cock ring on its necklace, and he's got a vine monster on his back named Pride. Yeah, this is gay.
This is a queer-coded villain if I've ever seen one.
This is a queer-coded robot if I've ever heard one.
It's also horror anime themed very, very easily, but that wasn't my aim when I made it.
It's the Star Kids version of Harry Potter the musical, where the guy is literally standing.
I'm so happy someone made a Star Kid reference.
Why would I make an actual Harry Potter reference when J.K. Rowling's a TERF? And a Tory.
Yeah, she's worse than that.
I know she is. Trust
she's
me.
She's also kind of a Nazi.
I know.
Just a smidgen.
Have you seen the anti-Semitic bullshit she put in your books?
Yes.
Goddamn.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great, guys. I would love to separate the art from the artist, but in this case, the fucking rotten apple did not fall far from the rotten tree.
Isn't Harry Potter a property of Universal Studios or some shit? So like,
I don't know what that means.
Where the hell is Harry Potter land?
I don't know.
She owns the intellectual property, but Universal has distribution rights for creative content and sales.
Boycott Universal.
No. I guess.
I don't know. I was never like a Harry Potter fan, so I don't know which like things you referred to specifically that are like anti-Semitic in the books. But the first one I thought
goblins.
The first one I thought I was gonna say is like, "Dobby Jewish?"
It's the goblins running the banks and having like Jewish stereotypes on them, and also the fact that this part's not necessarily anti-Semitic, but it's all of the rich white. Or all of the rich wizards,
the caste system,
all of the rich pureblood wizards have slaves who like being slaves.
Yeah,
that's true. So it's fine.
So we're gonna nope. We're here to play Dungeons and Dragons, everybody. Don't get me wrong. Fuck that bitch. But we have other things to do with our fucking time. We came here for escapism, not to get drawn back into the world of awful fucking people. There's enough awful people in this fucking fantasy world to deal with. Okay? So, about Edward. Oh, first, Finn, take inspiration. For calling out a queer-coded character.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad that is a worth achievement. I just do it by nature. You know?
Right. No, that's I'm rewarding your nature. Okay,
And
tell
then
me.
every fandom gets mad at me. If
Well,
every fandom is like, stop making it gay, can't make it gay. Fuck it. If I
it's
want, if
already
I
gay.
should
It's
be,
already gay. You can't stop it from being gay. Stop. You stop
Motherfucker, I
being
am
gay.
gay. I
All
can make
right,
it
all
gayer.
right, all right. Everybody, shut the fuck up. Except for Matt. Matt, don't shut the fuck up. Start talking. How does Sethan know Edward?
The rituals to create a warforged were of great interest to Sethan.
Okay.
And upon seeing a warforged originally before meeting Octave, drew Sethan to investigate what this creature was, how it was made. And from that, with Edward's proficiency in the School of Witherbloom, they have been working through some quirky magical mechanics where living tissue and magic and stone, you can kind of blur the lines on. Which is always weird. Why does healing magic work on stone? When you animate it in a warforged process, but it doesn't work otherwise.
It's weird, right?
Mm.
Weird. It's like magic. Which I know Sethan is loath to admit.
Yeah. Whole motivation is understanding those underlying principles of basic variables of the universe. And those fundamental functions you use to build up other actions in magic.
I love that. I do love that. So here's what I'd like to know. A couple things. First, what is Sethan seeking out from Edward? Or what is Edward providing to Sethan as their relationship continues to build a foundation? I imagine Sethan's what, second year or third year?
Second, I want to say.
Okay, so you've known Edward for maybe a little more than a school year.
Probably midway through the first school year, I would have seen him.
Okay. How close would you say the two of you are? Like drinking buddies, like
closer to teacher and student, but to the point where at least real world, the student has matured enough that it would be not improper for them to meet outside of school activities.
Okay.
Like they've graduated high school, the teacher is not engaging in anything improper. It's just they like the way each other thinks. There's no romantic entanglements.
Okay. So where are the two of you meeting? Sort of away from the purview of Strixhaven as an academic institution. It can still be on campus, of course. I'm just curious. Also, is he another member of Quandrix? Or is he at a different school?
Edward is a member of Witherbloom.
Okay.
Which is in the SPG message for nope, at least. Let me take a quick glance at the Strixhaven map.
Yeah, if anybody needs those things, let me know. I can provide them to you.
Yeah. You already have them shared in the
Discord?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to say that there's some rented lab space near the Fire Jolt Cafe near the Archway Commons.
Okay. Okay. I like that. Do you guys usually practice alchemy, magical mathematics here?
Generally, the interactions are academic versus social.
Yeah.
We're both focused enough on our subjects that we're excited about talking about that subjects more than each other.
Sure. I'm curious because what's sort of coming to my mind is an almost like holodeck-like space where it's sort of like a white marble interior where these tiles are buffeted by anti-magic fields. So nothing magic can sort of can damage the room. So your attempts to like bring spells in and conjure things, you can practice without fear of hurting someone.
And bringing the area down around me.
Yeah,
Makes
that's
sense,
not going to happen.
Since I'm trying to rebuild spell work without the magical nomenclature.
Sure. These spaces
obviously you're gonna have weird stuff.
You get one little rune wrong, one little misgesture with the end of your scythe-like arms, and it can totally change the function of what you're doing or cause it to just go haywire. These rooms are often utilized by members of Silver Quill for practicing duels. There's a lot of dueling in Silver Quill. In fact, it is the primary method by which they sort of established the pecking order. So it's not uncommon for you to see some like Silver Quill students coming out of these rooms just wrecked. Oftentimes with a crowd of other students who have observed these magical exchanges from the overhead windows that look down into these rooms, sort of the same way that you would observe a surgeon at a medical school and of old, since everything's digital these days. But yeah, what are you working on in particular with Edward?
The most recent project has been creating homunculi,
Okay.
specifically using my runic language instead of the usual to see if the properties of the homunculus on the other end are different, and if they're different, how.
Sure. What sort of raw materials are you using?
Generally the same ones that Edward is made out of, as he's the artificer familiar with the Warforged process. When asked, Sethan would help acquire some articles that they wouldn't have access to, but largely they'd be working with the onks and granite and the fungal materials.
Love that. Love that. Roll me an Arcana check, would you?
Sure.
Actually, do with advantage, because you've got Edward here to help.
Fair enough. Arcana. Solid +4 to it. What do I get on not roll 20?
Yeah, no D&D beyond no roll 20 for you.
17 total.
Okay. Attempt after attempt seem to be plagued with. I mean, it's not cursed or anything like that. But as you begin to cut these magical runes into the air, and shift these patterns, so that magic essentially flows as intended into this world, you see time and time again these raw materials consumed begin to take shape as those mycelial strands sort of weave their way through these materials. And then just when you think you've got it, you end the spell, and even Edward is like, yes, good, this is it. This time it's going to work. And as you come forward and these entities, different shapes, different builds, each time you come back, they just crumble into ash before you. There's something missing. And Edward doesn't know what it is, but you are on the cusp of it. And after hours and hours of this, even Edward is at least mentally fatigued. And we see him convincing Sethan to sort of give up the ghost on this one for now, so to say. And as he does, you hear a raucous cheer from down the hall, and then very quickly you see a gentleman. He's being carried out of a room draped over someone's shoulder. His nose looks broken, and one nostril is bleeding somewhat profusely. His buddy claps his hand, filled with a handkerchief, over his nose, and looks at you and reaches down and takes this guy's limp arm and waves it at you. And then very quickly you look up and you see a stream of people coming down, all sorts of different student garb. A bunch of different schools have watched this exchange. And as he is carried out, you see someone else sort of rush out and help pick him up, and stuff something up his nose to stop the bleeding, and then cast a faint spell, which you hear sets the bone quite audibly in this hall, causing a few of the students descending this stairwell from the second story to recoil in horror. And then you see a tiefling as she strides out with her dark lavender skin and high, twisting, pointed horns, and she sort of brushes her hands off, and then dusts off her shoulder pauldrons, which are these curved, sharp protectors, tapering into a point, and she has a cape suspended from them, which she reaches over and sort of brings across the front of her, and she takes a bow for the crowd. And Edward looks over and says, "Do you know who that is?"
No, but I respect strength. Battle is no minor thing, but when necessary, you should win.
He squints as much as his face can, and looks out, and he says, "I believe that is Anastasia Ikova."
A name that I should know.
I would think so. She is particularly dangerous, and she has a way with magic. She is a sorceress, if I recall correctly. But she has been known to use many of the equations of Quandrix to enhance her magical prowess.
It's using magic to manipulate her magic. Okay.
Well, using math to manipulate magic, but yes. Athene?
Yeah.
What's up?
Alright, come at the worst time because I'm taking my medication.
I was like, because I'm taking a shit. You taking a piss, mate?
Be on a call.
I mean, if there's anything I'm good at, it's time. Doesn't mean I've got great.
Almost choked on my pills.
Yeah, that's how we like to do it. Just get you mid gulp.
Okay. Hi.
Hi. Hey, Athene.
Yeah.
Who's your friend?
Alright. I'll come up with the goofiest creature. Okay. I've named them Gonzalo, which means according to Google, man who is genius in battle. And they are Silver Quill student.
Amazing. Okay.
They are a turtle based off of the Mata Mata turtle. And the Mata Mata turtle is beautiful.
Yes.
The smuggest face I've ever seen on any creature.
Yeah, that's as smug as they get.
They're very leafy and pointy. It almost looked rainbow.
Love that. Love that. Sweet. How big is Gonzalo?
Let's see how big. I didn't even figure that. How big do Matabats usually get? Because usually that helps me. They're a bigger turtle.
21 kilograms, 46 pounds, 37 inches, so 3 feet. So, I'd say half again to twice that anthropomorphized.
Okay, yeah. Then they're probably around 6 foot. I was imagining them as being bigger just because I feel like a lot of turtles are big. Because turtles are usually big, except for some. Some are small.
Some are very small, but yeah, I think in this case the turtle's gonna tort. Anyway, sweet. Is he wearing clothes?
I imagine it'd be very hard to wear clothes when you are that pointy.
It's fair. It's fair and understandable. Do gloves, boots, scarves, yeah. Tortoise with the boots with the fur.
The whole club was looking at her.
Correct. Correct.
I don't know what their pronouns are. Turtles.
Old?
I don't think turtles.
AF.
What?
His pronouns are old. AF.
True.
Yeah. I'm going to make Gonzalo very old.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm thinking
never too late to go back to college.
Yeah, he's 290 years old.
What is the oldest turtle?
It's like 460 or some shit like that. No, that's sharks. Near 200 years.
Yeah, it's Jonathan, the 109-year-old bisexual.
All I heard was 190-year-old bisexual. That's what I heard.
Yeah, Jonathan, the 190-year-old bisexual turtle.
Oh. You did say 190-year-old bisexual. Cool. All right.
You fuck that old man.
We stand.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. The oldest ever Shalonian.
What is this? What is this?
It's a category that encompasses all turtles, terrapins, and tortoises.
Oh. So what's the longest lived one?
It is still Jonathan.
Okay.
They only know that he's at least 190, but he could be well over 200 years old. They just don't know. He's so damn old, nobody knows.
I think that should apply to Gonzalo as well. We just don't know. So
okay.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, definitely at that point. I'm just gonna go with well over 200. And that's a bit of a magic number around here. Where do you said he's a silver quill, right?
Yeah.
Sweet. Where do you meet him? And what do you guys do when you hang out?
He's a swampy turtle. That's where Mods and Mods hang out. So I feel like if they have permission to hang out in like the woods of Witherbloom and like look at bugs and shit.
That's dope. I'm here for that.
Find some
Sedgemoor in that general region. There's a lot of swamp that's not like campus proper. So there's plenty of room to roam around here. You are welcome to create places, or just sort of pick on the map, or draw from where you think they might be. It's up to you.
I don't know, maybe they found like a little cave or something. They've made like their little hideout.
I like this. I like this very much. There's a little source material. Yeah, at Witherbloom proper, Sedgemoor is actually a far larger expanse than it looks on the page. The Sedgemoor woods and bog and swamp are a sprawling expanse that run between Witterson's Hall all the way up to the edge of Quandrix, south of the Arithmodrome, excuse me. With beautiful sort of structure, sort of vivisecting the two. This huge long river that flows between two tremendous cliff faces. Beautiful. So you guys are hanging out in the cave. What are you doing in the cave?
Don't you be thinking they do not do the 6. Okay. Well, I think like just in general, like why they're friends is because Gonzalo's like a nosy little bitch who like knows
Yes.
a bunch of shit that they probably aren't supposed to know. And like a fiend just like always wants to learn stuff. So what's the better place to learn than the fucking dude who knows everything?
That's real.
So
That's
yeah,
very real.
and he's old as fuck, so maybe he knows something about what happened.
Do you
He's
ask him?
he's probably there. Um, yes, but in like a more polite way than I just said.
What do you
I
say?
think he probably has like uh well, he has like his board, his Illuminati theory board. But he probably has like another
Like a
notebook.
pocket-sized one?
Yeah, like a little notebook or something. So it's just like info dumping all this
Okay.
shit, all this shit.
Yeah, you hear Gonzalo. He says, "Do you think that somebody hid the information from you? Um, this is interesting. Um, Athene,
Yes.
do you know who died?"
No.
He reaches up a clawed hand and sort of scratches under his sort of like panel near his ear. "I think I knew them." And you see his eyes sort of like wander around, like the inside, like two strobe lights searching in the night for a thought.
No thoughts, head empty.
And then he sort of closes his eyes and he says, "Dimitri. Yes, Dimitri Lazio. Dimitri Lazio. I haven't said that name in 200 years. Hmm. He looks back over and he says, "Do you know About the duel?
No.
Roll me a history check, would you please?
Okay, I'm just gonna write down the info. It was 16.
Okay. He says Dimitri was a excellent student at Silver Quill, but he was a terrible person to deal with. He would antagonize students, not just in Silver Quill, but from other schools as well. His little nose twitches. And then he sort of gets a big smile on his face and sort of opens his eyes and mouth as if just thoughts are pouring like wine back into his brain. And then he starts to look excited. And he says, "Yes, Dimitri was a charming son of a bitch. People loved him, people hated him, and he was empowered by both their love and their hatred. I remember the feelings I had, mixed as they were, seeing him defeat challenger after challenger and setting himself up to challenge students from other schools as well." Can I get an insight check?
Um, 15.
Almost immediately you start to sense that this Dimitri guy, he seems to have been written out of the school records entirely. There's no yearbook photo of Dimitri. There's no in memoriam for Dimitri. The name of the student who passed has always been a student, never the name of the person. And it's pretty apparent to you that that is a choice that was made by either the administration or somebody for what they reported and what records they kept. This death on campus was, as the kids would say, sus.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Sus.
But Gonzalo goes on to sort of explain that Dimitri was both well liked and well hated, and was sort of a powerhouse. He was essentially like the class president for Silver Quill. for the 3 3/4 years that he was here. Before his untimely death, he was sort of the golden child of the school, and he mentored, the mentoring being in very large, multicolored quotation marks, because it seems that all he really did was teach people to use magic more maliciously in these duels. And it was essentially his prerogative that as long as you didn't actually kill somebody, it didn't matter how hard you went. Just be willing to go one step farther than the other person when it comes to your brutality, and you'll always win.
Hmm.
What does Athene think about that?
We're definitely very giddy to just like have like all this information just like that easy, just by asking their friend. But
Mm-hmm.
also thinking that, well, what I'm thinking, which I guess also Thene's thinking, is that well, first they're like, okay, first they were like, oh, they were like kind of an asshole. So it was like when they did the school like cover it up because they didn't like them either. But then I also said that they were like the golden child. So no, the school did like him. So that's not the reason. So why hmm.
That's a good question to find out. Um, as you are sort of posing those questions, Gonzalo says, "What if the answers could be provided from?" And he sort of scratches under his long neck, and then he points upward with a single claw, sort of looking through the top of the cave that y'all are in, and smiles big. From above. And you see him, he goes from his sort of like crisscross applesauce position. He sort of just like leans forward, and then catches himself, and then begins to sort of slowly trundle out of this cave, and then picks up his legs and begins to slide down the rocky surface, as he just sort of slips into the murky waters of the Sedgemoor swamps.
Oh, I guess did like right after them. What do you mean? You mean contact spirits?
Uh, he he's sort of swimming, and you just see his eyes and nose above the water, and he says, "Yeah, something like that." And he pulls himself through the muck and the mire, thin tendrils of vines and plant matter clinging to the tips of his shell, pries himself back onto the hill on the other side of the swamp. And as you look out, you hear chanting down in a cleared valley beneath you. And Eurydice?
Yes.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey. Can
Do
I
I
get
get to talk
a...
about my wife now?
Not yet.
Damn it.
Almost. I know you're so excited.
I want to talk about my wife.
You're about to, but if
Okay.
you're keeping yourself from it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, what am I rolling?
You're gonna roll a religion check, please.
Poggers. I don't think I'm actually good at that.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, wait, yeah, I am.
Good or not.
15 plus 4, 19.
Very good. What does this service, this ritual look like? As Gonzalo and Athene look down into this valley.
So, in the valley, I imagine that there's a clearing in a ring of trees.
Yes.
It's a big ring of trees where Eurydice and Pandora have strung up like very nice little, like, not quite lights but absolutely lights. They're like it's not really lights, it's cords made out of different types of different dried fruits, so like dried oranges, dried cranberries. They're garlands basically.
Right.
And on those garlands are glowing orbs of light that are made with magic, in varying shades of spring, so like pinks and green and like an orange and like very soft rain blue colors. And within the ring of trees, there are several rings of flowers, all of which are dried and laid out in color order until you get to the very center of the ring, where Eurydice is sitting with Pandora standing behind her. Eurydice strumming on a ukulele, because I say so, and Pandora standing over her with her hands clasped in front of her, head down, in what looks like prayer, but she's wearing a ring of, like, you know, those headbands that start at your temples, but then they come over your head and they look like rings of like lens flare.
Mm-hmm.
She's wearing one of those made out of different spring flowers, but the spring flowers are also conjured with magic, so they're not real. And Pandora is also wearing one of Eurydice's many shawls decorated with also spring flowers and things like that. And the ring of flowers they're in, the very outside starts with like new bloom, or like fresh new like buds, so like flower buds that haven't yet bloomed, going inwards, going from like freshly bloomed rock roses all the way into the middle, where it's just a ring of sunflowers, so it looks like the sun on the ground and made out of dried flowers. And there is a small group of people gathered around the ring just outside of that. So where Eurydice and Pandora are in the very center, there's a small ring of people, 2 rows of flowers out from that. Some with drums, some sitting silently, also with their heads bowed, things like that. And in front of Eurydice is a bottle of rosé that is corked, capped, and tied, and has a black ribbon tied neatly around it, with a skull charm and a flower charm.
Dope.
Yes.
What's y'all's passive perception? Well, just actually just yours.
13.
Okay. Just gotta see. You know how it is. Just gotta see sometimes. From the ridge of this hill, Athene, you and Gonzalo look down into this sort of prayer circle. As you do, there's a pause at the end of these prayers, and what does it look like as Pandora finishes leading this congregation?
As Pandora finishes the glowing ring of crown of flowers she had fades away, but leaves a normal flower crown on her head that starts to bloom as that purely magic one fades away. And as Pandora finishes, Eurydice moves her hands over her ukulele, and it also sparkles out of existence and leaves her with a bouquet of flowers instead. All fresh, these ones being spring tulips and stargazer lilies. And everyone around stops what they're doing, and in their and little garlands of petals grow around them that are in the trees where they were once oranges and dried oranges and cranberries. Different flowers take over where they are in a big ring around the trees, and where the dried flowers on the ground are, new grass growth starts, and you can see it slowly moving up and pushing the flowers upwards as well. And just the area that they're in looks more lush and green and alive. And the bottle of rosé in the middle, the ribbon kind of loosens and unties momentarily and on its own, and you see, I want to say, a quarter of the bottle disappear. And then the ribbon reties and stops glowing. And people kind of start to get up and mill about and chat and do what they do.
As it's pretty evident that this has come to a close, Athene, you realize that underfoot there are lilies pushing their way through the dense foliage and detritus that has fallen on the ground on this ridge, pushing up under your feet. And the same for Gonzalo as he looks down and sees a tulip bud start to rise up and just takes the whole thing just as the petals are starting to blossom. And he looks at you, Riley, and through his chomping on his lily bud, he says, I think they can help us.
I think so too.
He says, then here we go. And he takes 2 small steps forward, and then you see him lift all 4 legs up off the ground, and then he sort of rocks, and on the third one, and he just starts to slide down this embankment, down to the edge of the grass, which he begins to nibble on enthusiastically, and slowly mowing his way towards this circle of folks surrounding Eurydice and Pandora.
I love how does he act? He's a turtle person, but he just acts like turtle.
Well, I mean, he's got some base instincts, we all do.
True.
I forgot to mention that Orpheus is also present, but he is at the edge of the woods munching on fresh grass. And for those who don't remember, Orpheus is the Flemish giant who looks like a. I can't remember if I said lion's mane or Holland Lob, but you know.
I like the lion's mane.
I think I wanted super fluffy.
Yeah.
Oh no, I said Angora.
Oh, also fluffy, very fluffy.
And you can harvest the fur, but yeah, Orpheus is also there, but he's just munching on grass.
Listen, y'all, it's just like pulling a tablecloth out from under a bunch of glass and silverware. You just gotta grab it, just get it all at once, like waxing. Don't look at me like that. I don't know. Sweet. Sweet.
All right, so I wanted to pick some of the flowers to keep some buds, and then I'll just fall down the hill. I'll fly down.
Okay. As you swoop down, you can see the last of these parishioners, even, it seems like, shaking hands and greeting Pandora and Eurydice. And it does seem that they are pretty well liked, appreciated, revered, even to some degree. What do you do?
I think as you guys get down there, also Pandora is handing her pelt back to Eurydice because lesbians.
Gay coded character. Actually, they're not even coded. They're just fucking gay.
They're not even coded.
Gay AF.
They're just gay.
AF.
These are some lesbians.
Lesbians.
These are lesbians.
LOL. Lots of lesbians. Also, I will also say most of the parishioners in the worship party are women.
Female like that.
Most of them are women. There are some men and non-bees scattered around, but almost all of them are women.
I like that. Sweet. Hey, Sethan, let's go back round real quick and check in with everybody. Hey. It's summertime. I don't know what praying mantis individuals do with their free time in the summer.
As far as the insects go, they explore and sunbathe. Anytime that they're not actively hunting or sleeping.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. You're carnivorous, right?
Yeah, and generally an obligate carnivore. I don't think that they would have any interest in most plant matter.
Okay. Roll me a survival check, would you?
Sure.
It's starting to get warm, and I don't know if you guys have ever been to a swamp when it starts to get warm, but
bugs.
There's bugs. There's bugs.
So many fucking bugs.
So many bugs. Yeah, they're friends and food.
They taste delicious.
Just gotta deep fry them.
Sautéed cockroaches with a little bit of like soy sauce are so good.
Just a little ancho chili powder.
I disagree with that, but that's because I'm white enough that I literally can barely eat table pepper.
Mayonnaise too spicy.
I am so autistic.
Sethan has a wonderful 6 with a penalty down from 7.
Wow.
Oh, bestie.
Oh no, I love this. What kind of insect are you chasing that you're doing a bad job with?
What kind of insect
Yeah. Or
would
bird, I
a
guess.
2-foot a bird would
Yeah.
probably do?
It could
Now we're getting into awkward territory with our resident owlin.
They're a bird folk. They are not birds.
Mm.
There's a slight difference.
Also, he's a bird of prey, so he eats other birds.
It's true. That's true.
They can bond over eating small birds.
Especially owls. Owls are jerks as far as that goes, especially with
They
hawk
really
eggs.
are. They're so mean.
They just don't have a moral hierarchy, all right? It's not that they're mean.
You don't know that. They might.
No, I actually do know that owls are stupid creatures and have no moral compass.
You don't know that because you're not an owl, Hadley.
I know, I absolutely know that. I absolutely know. If you put an owl on your arm, it's so dumb, it'll look where it wants to bite you. And then it'll look up at you like, I'm going to bite you.
That's not dumb,
Right
Hadley.
there.
That means it knows what it's doing.
It knows what it's doing, but it doesn't know that it's communicating to you that it knows what it's doing.
It might know that.
No,
It doesn't have that self-recognition.
Here's how you know, because do you know how to keep an owl from biting you right there? Do you know? All you have to do is go, and it will disrupt the owl's thought process sufficiently that it won't realize where it is anymore.
I do that to my cats.
Yeah.
Yeah, owls are just cats of the sky.
They are a lot cats of the sky and stupid. Completely driven by instinct. Is all I'm saying. They will consume because they have no moral compass. Kill, consume, regurgitate, repeat.
I'm gonna put that on a shirt. Damn, you really just dissed on a fiend for like 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes, but like.
I was talking about owls. You're not an owl. You're an owl person.
True.
I literally prefaced all of this.
Anthropomorphic owls do not count because they are too good for this world, and we love them.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I love a fiend. I would die for a fiend.
Kill, consume, regurgitate, repeat.
I'd like to imagine that a fiend does have like a taxidermy of like an actual owl, and they're just jokingly like, haha, this is my dad.
That is so
fucking love
good.
a fiend. Oh my god. Also, Finn, the other, I guess it was Thursday, Jimbo and I were having such a great time talking about you and your characters in another game.
Oh, thank you. That I'm cool and that like you like want to talk about me.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Well, now I'm curious. What were you saying?
Good things about how much we love how you play your characters and how great a character Portabella is, and how much I love Athene for being like the straight man in the room. Not straight like straight, but like in the like joking sense of the one that has sort of the dry wit.
Straight men don't know dry humor. They don't know shit.
Well, they certainly don't know.
Did you?
They really don't know wet things either. You're right, honey.
Yeah, that's the money shot right there, everybody. Thank you. Thanks for coming out tonight. It's going to be all downhill from here, so just go ahead and call it a night.
I don't play. I just make witty comments.
Hadley, you don't count as a straight man.
I know.
No, he does to me.
I've got great news for everyone. I'm not technically straight, so I don't know what to do with you for that. So Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I'm not.
We didn't tell you it was wrong.
Why
And even if we
I
did,
knew it was wrong. I knew it was
you
wrong
could tell us
all
how
along.
sad.
Listen, the only
Ew,
thing.
imagine being straight. Look at those straggers.
Yeah, look at. Oh god. Oh god. Athene, can I get a dexterity saving throw, please?
Oh my god, you're chasing Athena.
No.
No. I posted a picture in the Strixhaven channel of
It's a
the
very pretty bird.
hawk thing that I'm chasing, and
That's too big for your little buck mouth.
It's gonna eat you. You're gonna get eaten. You're
Baby.
just a little guy. It's
between
not even
me
your
and
birthday.
my owl, we stand a chance of taking it down. It's just I'm not having any luck chasing it.
Oh yeah, I forget you have a pet owl. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It becomes Athene's plot twist. The owl is Athene's son.
It's Athene's dad. Is actually Athene's dad, and
That gets into some really weird morality shit. Unless the owl like consents to being your pet,
it's
which
a
gets into other weird
familiar, not a pet. It's a familiar. It's a
And we just
magical
discussed how stupid owls are.
expression.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
anyways, that was a 10.
As you are flittering down, y'all ever seen where Randy Johnson, he was a pitcher. There's a gif where he throws a baseball. He's throwing like a curveball, and you just see like a pigeon fly down, and then just like feathers everywhere. It looks a little like that as this bird plows, wham, right into Athene as you're flying down with your little fistfuls of flowers, and we just see a poof of downy feathers and flowers raining down. Eurydice and Pandora, from your perspective, it is quite gorgeous. And then immediately disheartening as you hear two injured birds onto the ground, and then see an owl land on top of this what looks like a small falcon, and then a panting Seathan comes zipping down, the cliff face into this basin after it. And Athene, as you compose yourself and find your glasses from the leaves and fresh grass, Eurydice, you look down at this mad exchange, and then you see this owl begin to just absolutely try and tear into this bird on the ground like it's supper time.
That's fine. My wife and I, Eurydice and Pandora's patron is the queen of the underworld.
Call it
This
an
is
offering.
fine.
Call it an offering.
Yeah, no, this is fine. But like, whenever we see shit die, we just kind of like wait for it to die, collect its bones, and make those offerings to our patron's husband. It's fine. And to our patron, it's all good. But Eurydice will fasten Pandora's pelt around her own shoulders because the pelt was given to her, and it's fine. And it does sit like a cloak. It's just a silky pelt, but it sits like a cloak because of who it was given to her by. And she will approach the scene of the incident and very carefully approach Athene.
Okay.
Eurydice is this tall, like 9 foot tall, imposing woman. with like big floofy tail, big floofy puppy dog ears that are like pointy. She's so very good, and she'll like look down at Athene and like kind of crouch a little bit to offer out her hand and say, "Are you all right?"
Yes, I am fine.
That was quite the crash. How can I help you? And she'll like keep her hand offered to help Athene stand back up.
Well, I picked those flowers, and now they're scattered everywhere.
Side quest. No, I'm just kidding.
Incredible.
Just kidding.
I'm glad you seem to enjoy them. My wife and I do this frequently, and if you'd like, maybe you could come join our congregation sometime and gather more on a more frequent basis.
+1 for proselytizing.
Let me live my life.
That sounds good.
Nice. Ethan, what are you doing as your familiar begins to tear into this broken bird?
Not get anywhere near that because I don't think they're going to pay attention if I reach in, and I may get damaged.
Okay.
That's a hungry owl.
Yeah.
Eaten by your own familiar. Hot damn.
Yeah,
that's
a hell of a statement.
Can I see the others now?
Everybody's there. There's a handful of other people who just witnessed this, I'd say, exchange, this act of carnage. But yeah, you see Athene. You see a turtle individual. They're very large. They looked at first like just a rock on the ground, a spiny one at that. As the grass is starting to grow up around them, and they're just literally mowing down. And then they move forward a step, and then take another step.
It's a very large turtle.
He raised his head up over the grass, which is pretty tall, and says, "I'm not a turtle, I'm a portal." And then he slowly lowers his head back down. You just hear.
Understood. My mistake. I will be gathering up some of those rune-encrusted feathers from whatever the hell this falcon is. Which is most of the reason I was chasing it. Didn't think I was going to get much to eat off of it, but yeah. I really was not expecting a big turtle just chowing away while I was chasing this bird. Do you teach or attend at Strixhaven? I don't know why you're out here in the swamp.
You see another head, sort of his head pop up again, and you just see grass, green juice running down the bottom of his big smiley face, and he looks up and he says, "I've been a student here many times longer than you've been alive."
That's both impressive and not impressive because my race doesn't live for a very long time. I'm 9.
Yeah, he says, "Oh, Well, yes. Many times longer than.
Almost depressingly larger.
He winks and then.
Sorry for interfering with your lunch.
Oh,
Goes
no
along.
problem. And then you see the head pop up one more time and say, Mathine,
Yes.
are you going to ask their god for help? And then dips his face back into the grass.
That is a good idea.
Oh, were you seeking guidance of Persephone?
My friend Gonzalo has suggested that we learn information about the situation
I see.
by contacting the spirits of the student that was killed.
I see. Well, I could... Siri, why did you react to me saying that? Sorry. Well, my wife and I could certainly try and help you. Pandora is an avatar of Persephone and I am a high priestess, so it wouldn't be too difficult, I don't think. We seem to be in Hades' good graces as well, from what I can tell. So, if we worship his wife, we also in turn worship him. You don't separate them ever.
Yes.
I'm sorry. That's how it goes, Hadley.
Are you looking at me like I had something to say?
I can't read your face, and you gave me... It looked like you gave a look. It's
I was scratching my nose.
Okay, I'm
like
very
this?
dumb. I'm sorry. Okay. Well. I think Eurydice would motion for the others to follow her back to the inner circle to see her wife, who she loves. That's my wife.
My wife.
My wife.
Okay. You guys go back to the middle of the circle. What do you ask? What do you ask for from Eurydice and Pandora? The theme.
Well, I kind of just stated that to try to contact the person. Well, now they can give more detail, say who the person is.
Who's that person?
And it was Demetrius' first name. I'll look at the last name. Like those. Lazius instead.
Lazio.
Oh. Wait, there's an S at the end. Or is the S silent?
It is silent.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to show you the wife very quickly, and then I will do things. I promise. I just need to show off the wife.
Show us the wife.
I'm legally obligated to show off the wife. That's Eurydice. This is her wife. This is Pandora. I'm mildly in love with her. It's fine.
Mildly.
I'm so proud of her. I don't know why. I just think she's very pretty.
Because she is.
She
Correct.
is. She's stunning. If we're given the name Dimitri Lazio, I think Eurydice would look down at Pandora, who is shorter than her, and I'm very dumb. and kind of give her a little nod to be like, these people are chill. They seem fine. They're asking for help. We usually don't mind people anyway, but you know, they're fine. They know what's going on, and it's not a big secret that we're hiding from them too. Just because, you know, confidant and all of that. And, I think she'd again looked at her wife and be like, I think it's time for us to dismiss the congregation for now and clear everyone out.
Yeah, bless you. As you do, you see the last of them sort of bow and step away. And Sethan, are you going to participate in this, or are you going to observe? No, no direction on there. As I'm genuinely curious what Sethan would do upon hearing that Athene has an idea, somewhat put there by Gonzalo, that y'all can reach out and find some spirit guidance.
Since
Sure. Gesundheit?
I've had third irritation for weeks now and haven't figured out exactly what it is.
Everybody should be taking antihistamines. I'm just saying. I love all of you as your father. I'm telling you all to take antihistamines because of hay fever season. Just do it as a preventative measure. Love you. I don't want you to suffer unnecessarily.
Sethan is generally not interested in necromantic practices, which this feels heavily to.
Absolutely.
So you wouldn't necessarily be interested in participating more than just watching from an academic standpoint of, so that's how you do it.
Right. Okay. I appreciate that very much. Athene, are you going to actively participate or are you going to observe?
I don't think he knows anything about like really, performing necromancy. So I mean, if he can help, then he can. But if
I don't think that it's necessarily a matter of knowing how to participate. It's more of a like, you know how in TV shows where you have a seance and you have everyone hold hands and only really one person knows what the hell they're doing?
I mean, generally, no one on that scene actually knows what they're doing, but yes.
But it's
yes.
kind of like that, but it's not the same. So you don't necessarily have to know what you're doing to participate. It's more of a guided experience.
There you go. So, how's Athene feeling about that?
Yeah, he'll help.
Okay.
He'll hold hands.
Okay.
Break out the Ouija board.
Nice. Very good. As you do, Gonzalo looks over and says, I don't think you need that for this.
Well, that was a joke. I don't know if he actually had a Ouija board, but I guess he does now.
Canonically, he does, and now it's on the ground in front of everyone, and Gonzalo's like...
While this is happening, Eurydice and Pandora are both casting Druidcraft to create a space for it. They're making a different kind of circle, this time not necessarily out of flowers, but out of other plants, thistles particularly, thistle bushes, a couple of a lot of ground cover plants, some nice lichen and moss in another ring and taller bushes to create an overhand to cut off the light.
I love this. I love this a lot. I like this scene. what does Pandora do to like kick this off and start channeling this divine energy? Which is, I mean, it's going to be visible what's happening.
So, Hades, they're specifically, I think, trying to reach out to both Hades and Persephone for this, because both would be beneficial.
But
so
both is good.
Yes, they've gathered around a white poplar tree.
Okay.
Which which is bone white bark. It is sacred to Hades, so it makes sense that it would be there. And around them on the ground are asphodel flowers and mint.
Can you describe what those look like for everybody?
Let me look them up for you.
Yeah.
Asphodel are little white stem, like tree-like stem flowers, I think is the way to phrase it. I am gonna pull up a picture on my iPad real quick and share my screen.
Okay.
Because I'm bad at describing things, and that's why I have visual aids.
This is great. These look a lot like fireweed.
This is asphodel.
Yes.
And I'm also going to look up a poplar plant because I feel like I should.
Poplar is a nice tree.
That's the wood. Hold on. This is a poplar tree.
White poplar on the top right there.
This one? Yeah. They are associated with Hades. Sorry. So they've gathered around a poplar tree. They have asphodel flowers growing around them. They also have mint as like a ground cover. And they've also got
what does the magic look like as it's sort of like pouring out? Do we see the magic itself, or do we just see the effects of it?
You see the magic itself from Eurydice, but from Pandora you don't. From Pandora you see her appearance kind of shifting and changing slightly. So she looks less humanoid. She looks like she has glowing plant matter growing out of her body. The crown that she'd had before of the spring flowers and things like that is like a crown of mint leaves and mint leaves, poplar leaves, black branches of like that look like they've burned with ash, growing kind of like antlers out of the side of her head and like into a crown around it. And her eyes go from the normal black that most Selkie would have to like a stark white in color. And Eurydice, while she's doing her magic-y stuff, you can see the magic itself, which is for this particular ritual that they're trying to pull off is black and white and gray in color, tracing circles over the ground, tracing like what would look like transmutation circles almost over the ground as she casts, and white and black and gray fire crops up wherever the plants grow, and as the fire dissipates, there's a plant in its place. The fireweed is also gently scattered through the moss and the mint and the asphodel.
Sethan, can I get an Arcana check, please?
Absolutely. +4 to the roll. Find the roller. Don't trust that. I've gotten too many 17s. It's a 10 total with base 6.
What's your religion modifier? Do you have one?
+2.
Okay. as you look at this, you realize what's being channeled is divine energy. You've never seen someone utilize math to channel the divine. It is a new concept for you that you know that you can sort of tap into what people would consider evocation magic or abjuration or conjuration. You understand that there's different sort of manifestations of magic. These are just, just schools which all happen under the same umbrella of math. But it's never really occurred to you that you could do the same thing to tap into divine energy. And now you've got a whole fucking dissertation worth of questions running through your head. And something about like trying to put together the idea of like a summoning circle and maybe like teleportation magic and transmutation magic. But like as you're trying to just like you don't realize what's happening around you. But Athene, you do. And Athene, as you hold hands with the individuals in this circle, you begin to see apparitions. Ghosts begin to pop up as if the mists of morning dew are rising from these tall grasses and cascading off of this poplar and these beautiful asphodel flowers. You begin to see them wisp into many of them somewhat humanoid bodies. The individual who stands in the middle of the circle looks to have female proportions. The curve of her body translucent, but still an ashen white. And she's wearing little more than what looks like a shawl made of vines. And she raises her head and opens her eyes, and all you see are dark, black, glossy eyeballs as they begin to look around this circle at each of you in kind. And as she looks around, you begin to see many more ghosts take shape in this space, densely packed. Very few of them seem to be fully human. And that is distinct. Many of them are grung. Other of them are slad. Even more still are avian looking creatures. Very similar to the anthropomorphized Athene. Even more have a insectoid nature to them. Many, if you are familiar with Dark Sun Thrycreen, essentially an ant-like creature. And all of them seem to look particularly dour. And Eurydice, yeah, I think they're shown with like 6 appendages. I don't think they got the springy back leg. That's just I don't know. Because I don't think they have like a long thorax. Call me crazy. But yeah, the as Eurydice, you and Pandora and Athene and Sethan and Gonzalo look around. There's ghosts y'all. There's ghosts every which direction you look, and as we look down on this dome of foliage, we can see that those ghosts are packing in, stepping out of the mist and fog of this swamp to congregate around this summoning circle. What do you do?
First, would Eurydice recognize the woman? Supposed woman?
Roll me a history check with disadvantage.
Okay. See if I get worse than a 2. I don't. 4 total.
What was your high number?
10.
Okay, so neither one
10
of...
plus 4, so 14
Okay.
actually.
There's some strange sort of resemblance, but as she looks at you directly, there's a fear that you're like, nope, that's not her. That's not who I thought that. Holy shit, that's not who I thought that was. Fuck. She has sort of a shapely, natural appearance that gives her that sort of deific energy. Like, oh, maybe she's a demigod. Or maybe she knows Persephone. Oh, maybe I don't know that bitch at all.
This is not Our Lady of the Underground, then?
Correct.
Cool. Thank you.
And she's also the only one with, like, black eyes. Everyone else seems to have these sort of, like, quasi-translucent, wispy, ethereal aesthetics to them. She seems to have an almost tangible quality about her. And she looks around, and her mouth opens, and nothing comes out at first. And she sort of looks around, expecting that someone would respond to what she said. And then you see her close those eyes, and you see her form begin to take more material shape. And as she does that, she looks back out and she says, Irgata Dogati Nofaleki Ala Erikaba Fruf Diladniga Boga Ariati.
What language is this, Hadley?
You don't know.
Okay.
None of you do. I think comprehend language only really works with written word, if I'm not mistaken. But anybody out there smart or particularly insightful?
I will roll a check to see if I can understand it. I am proficient in insight.
I have a +7 to insight.
I have a +5.
Okay. Hit me with those sweet, sweet insight checks then.
Math hard.
18 plus 5, 23.
I got 15.
At the beginning there, Athene, you feel real confident about what this lady's saying. She's like, you're like, okay. Long ago, We used to live here. Shit. I lost the thread. I don't know. She says, she sort of like turns and makes eye contact with Athene again. You're just like, yeah, I don't know that I want to be here for this. Eurydice, as you sort of look over what she says, you start to pick up on a few more of the context clues here. And you see that she's sort of expressing that all of us were here and then the next day we're gone. And then she sort of holds on to her shawl and sort of straightens it down the front of her body. And as she does, it looks like you could almost reach out and touch it. And she's not wearing any clothes to speak of. She looks like she's was coated with like peat moss and then powdered with like porcelain dust, giving it this sort of cracked, raised, textured appearance. What do you do?
I think Eurydice, as she was listening, would now and again, when she wasn't having eye contact made at her, would look at her wife to see if she's gathering anything, and if she understands more.
Roll me a straight int check.
Straight int.
Yeah.
For my wife.
My wife.
That won't load, please. Thank you. 17 plus 2, 19.
Yeah, she too does not understand the language, but she picks up just a sliver more. And very quickly you can see upon her realization that her ability to maintain this summoning, this outreach to the spirit world is quickly becoming disrupted. And you see the individual in front of you sort of flicker, and then you see all of the apparitions around here begin to fade. And then you see this woman, she mouths almost wordlessly, and she points towards her chest. Even and then she sort of flickers, and then fades. And in the dome of plants here, it becomes much darker again as each of these apparitions fades finally into nothingness.
As each apparition fades, Eurydice would start taking down the dome because it's not natural plants to the area, and she doesn't want to cause an invasive species.
Sure.
Undoming the plant room.
Okay.
And she would go to her wife.
Okay. She looks a little disturbed, a little perturbed.
Eurydice would just, knowing that her own pelt is probably a comforting thing to have, she would offer it back to her.
She demurs, and before you can take it off fully, she just sort of sets her hand down on your shoulder, and keeps you from doffing it. And she waves and she takes a single step forward, sort of staggered. And then you see her begin to cry.
Big hug for the wife. We love this woman. It's fine.
As you do, those tears roll off of her face, and when they hit the ground, we begin to see a bed of roses spring up.
If I die young, bury me in satin, lay me down on a bed of roses.
And begin to tendril from her tears around the center of that circle. And as you look from her tears down, we see roses, at first blossoming white and then turning a deep crimson, almost oxblood red, as this ring completes itself around what look like two burned footprints in this rising grass. Ethan, Athene, what do you do as you watch this happen?
I don't think Athene really knows what to do because, like, he doesn't know Pandora, so he doesn't really know to comfort. Like, I guess he could join the hug. That's kind of awkward. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you did just get here. I can walk almost anywhere and be like, it's time to hug, and people are like, yeah, it is. But I don't know that that's Athene's prerogative.
I mean, I think they look huggable because owls are pretty fluffy, but I don't think they themselves really do that. really.
Ethan,
you mentioned like footprints being left on the ground.
Correct.
Yeah, that's an unusual property for a spirit of any kind.
True.
I am interested in samples and yeah. Don't know how I'm gonna keep a footprint, but
the way I like to do it is if you just mix flour and water and a little bit of salt, and then pour it into the footprint. I don't know. Do you have a pound or two of flour on you?
absolutely things I don't carry around regularly.
Yeah.
I can attempt to take a bunch of dirt and otherwise disrupt it, but that's probably it.
Okay, roll me an insight or arcana check. Either one's fine with me.
Okay.
Or investigation. Are you trained in investigation?
I'm not, but I am in Arcana.
Okay.
And insight is going to result in limited information. But the Arcana is a 19.
Okay. The veil between this world and the next is not as thick as people want to believe. There are different planes of existence, but the ethereal plane it overlaps with our own. When one casts blink, they shift through that veil. The veil almost just washes over them, and essentially are in a black and white negative space from what we see and perceive. It's here around us all the time, but often, if you're in one plane or the other, that's the only plane you can really interact with. Ghosts are individuals that whose spirit does not fully exist on one side of that veil or the other. They are perpetually on the cusp. And so they do have sometimes the ability to affect tangible things. Generally speaking, though, they don't leave burned footprints behind. In this case, as you look down, you think that this may not have been someone who was 100% a ghost. And as you look down at the feet, you can also see they have 6 toes per foot. And their foot tapers drastically from a very wide, long 6-toed foot back to a very tight, tapered heel, which begins to get your gears a grinding about It's not morphology, that's languages. Shit, what's it called?
Husbandry?
No. How
Oh yeah, husbandry's breeding.
Express themselves. It's not dimorphism. Maybe it's just morphism. I don't know. Anyway, you're wondering what kind of creature, humanoid creature, has got 6 toes, a very wide toe box, and then very somewhat elongated but still very tapered heels.
Plot twist: the skinny dragonborn.
Unfortunately, their skin was not scaly. It looked like the salt flats. You know how the dirt dries and sort of cracks and peels upward. It looked like that. So whoever this creature is, they are probably or were probably tangible prime material plane dwelling creatures, ? But obviously their ability to move through the veil is not insignificant. You did see that she looked far more tangible. But yeah, there's some sort of planar effect here that you don't fully understand, but you're starting to wrap your head around it a little bit more and a little bit. Athene, what's your take on all of this?
I'll be honest, IRL, my brain is mush. I don't know what's going on. It's the ghost lady. She got 6 toes. And then I don't know what else.
That's about it. I mean, that's not. If that's your takeaway, then you've taken away what I provided you. So that's fine with me. Eurydice.
So my internet, it keeps cutting out. So I'm only hearing partially things that are said anyways because it keeps glitching.
I have to get you. Eurydice.
Yes.
Pandora continues to cry, having been deeply affected by what just transpired here. And you see you see a mix of realization and frustration on her face as she takes a knee and reaches out and caresses one of the blossoms of these crimson roses. And she reaches up and wipes the tears away from her eyes. And she turns and she looks up at you. And she says, Eurydice, it's so bad. And she whimpers and hiccups for a second. And she said, they lived here. All of them. Before Strixhaven.
One day they were here, one day they weren't. Strixhaven. Eurydice will motion for Orpheus to come over. Because this is so much.
Yeah, they trundle over towards you, curiously.
Just pats for Orpheus so that he knows kind of the vibe of what's going on.
Yeah. As the as she weeps, as she weeps, what's y'all's passive perception?
13.
20.
Okay.
I guess that's. I mean, owl. Good sight.
Yeah.
Good ear.
Okay. As as everyone is sort of examining this circle, Athene, your attention moves to the ridge that rises up around the clearing that you're in this little valley, this little dip. And as it does, you see some like a prism tinged green across the spectrum. And as something is this sort of like glint of illumination scatters light across from you. It's maybe 60, 80 feet away and up on the edge of this ridge. You have to sort of squint and look past that bright light. But what you see is the sun descending behind the trees far across the swamp. And it's being refracted through what looks like a little bigger than palm-sized glass orb, a crystal ball, if you will. And as that light shifts and it comes into view, you can see it swirling with a gray-green energy inside. And as you regard it, it rises up a couple of feet off of the edge of that sort of cliff face, and then begins to back up and disappears into the light of the sun.
My internet cut out for most of that. I heard that there's a green prism
Orb.
and
Yeah. Sort of
like
casting
physically
a prismatic light.
Under the orb.
Yeah. Like a crystal ball. It was floating just off the ground, way over yonder. And as it saw you see it, it floats up and then disappears.
I forgot to take note of that. Write it down.
No, I'm sure there's nothing to it. I'm sure is that you won't. I think I want to walk you guys out real quick. A bit of an F. Give me just a second while I pull this. We see the pathway leading to Grand Loft Hall on Silver Quill's campus. To the right, we can see the Rose Stage, a huge, beautiful amphitheater that looks down over a stage often used for both entertainment purposes here at Silver Quill and large school-wide functions as well. It is the place of many a public duel for grading and exhibition. And as we walk through the archway, that looks as if these beautiful golden flames rise up out of it, this intricate sculpture. As we move closer towards Grand Loft Hall, we see two spiral structures which rise up, twisting into two towers. And off to the left, we can see another building with minarets, these teardrop-like rooftops that rise higher and higher into an almost crown-like corona of the largest minaret. And then we look into the opening of Grand Loft Hall, a cascade of smaller and smaller and smaller doorways that lead into this tremendous structure, which looks like a torch burning eternal in the setting sun. And as we delve into its dark corridors, we wind past students conjuring magic at the tip of a quill. We see them practicing tirelessly. And we float from room to room watching these conjurations of magic, and then up a large circular staircase to a rotunda and swirl around it to a small set of double doors. And as we pass through the keyhole and look inside, we see a sphere, an orb, a crystal ball. It is seated atop a small, nondescript wooden podium in the middle of a desk, and beyond it we can see a leather high back chair, quilted, studded with brass. And as it swings around, we can see the white gray temples and the rising widow's peak of silver. And we can see two eyes peering down over this crystal orb. And we see a sharp eyebrow raised to the right. That is where I'll leave you. Oh, y'all, I have a present for you.
Are we leveling up?
Uh-huh.
Yay!
Uh-huh.
What are the rules for that for this one?
Do it.
I know that sometimes you have us add another class or something, and I wanted to know whether you were doing that.
You guys are level 5, right? You're gonna be level 5?
I thought we were going to be level 4.
Is level 4?
Are we level 3 right now?
Is it 3 or 4? What level are you guys?
I'm 3 right now. So
Okay, so
Yeah,
level
3.
4 it is. Yeah, so we're not going to play open spellbooks, but do take a feat and ability score improvement.
Poggers, okay.
Sweet, yes.
Even if you didn't take 4 levels of the same class?
Correct. Yeah. Just manually add points on your ability score page. And then I still find it easiest to do your feats on the character sheet itself, because then you can at least see what they all are.
Cool, I can finally wild magic my fucking cleric.
Nice.
I will be adding a single level in sorcerer just for the wild magic.
Just for the shit of it.
That's all I want.
Beautiful. Lovely. So kudos and congratulations. You guys did learn quite a bit this episode. And we're going to come back and visit again. And I look forward to seeing what you find out in 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
The week after next.
Sweet. Not a bad idea. The other thing, I'm not quite sure. I think that 4 weeks out, I'm going to be traveling. So I don't know if I'll be able to run a game in 4 weeks. So bear that in mind. But besides that, I unfortunately must bid you adieu and au revoir. And remind you as always to be good, to take care of yourselves. And if you can't be good, don't get caught. At least don't get caught. Okay?
And if you do get caught, remember that you have the right to remain silent.
Don't fucking talk to the cops, y'all. They will not try and help you. I don't care if you didn't do anything wrong. They're gonna find somebody to pin something on. Mwah. Y'all be good, and we'll see you again soon. Night, everybody.
Bye bye.
Night.